is going to be really exciting, Jess. Looking forward to it. Cruise Mobile Top 10 Shootout with a lot to play for today and tomorrow. As the lap gets underway now for Waters. Now, the significance of these laps, they're not like qualifying or practice. You don't get a run and jump. You've got to pull the trigger, and not many people have done that so far for a single lap. They've taken a lap or two to get the cars to click.
Exactly. So Brody Kostecki just made the point that he was trying to do on the first lap through the main segments of Boost Mobile qualifying, and now Cam Waters, his first sector at 26.5. We've seen low 26s like 26.1 or 2 has been the best so far. So he's on a roaded tyre. He's on tyres that are already used. Car just understeered a little bit off the back of turn 7 then. He was a little bit compromised in the wriggle down to Dandenong Road.
Into the final complex at turns 11 and 12 now for Waters. We've had to use all the rubber in order to be able to get into this shootout and be glued to the monitor here to see what this looks like, and so will be everybody else to come in this session. And 9.5 opens the account.
A little bit of wheel spin off the back of that curb at Dandenong Road at turn 9. Last sector looks a little bit better. The mid sector was slightly better than Cam's. It might just knock him off, but it doesn't actually. The last sector was slightly off. Only 4 1,000ths of a second for David. 9.56. Now the engineering difference here is straight away. First sector is actually slightly better than anybody so far. But instead of putting the new tyres down the loaded side, Grove team, the Penrite guys, have decided to put the new tyres on the rear of the car. So getting that up to balance and getting the car to be nice in terms of front to rear grip is difficult.
Looking good so far. Down to this left-hander into turn 9, which is slow and very easy to lock a brake. It's only 75 kilometres an hour in the middle of that corner, but building up again now to 200 kilometres an hour into this right-hander at 11. The numbers are good. If they stay on the current trend, they might be good enough to get him right to the top. It came out of the final corner nicely. They're focused on the numbers down at Tickford. They are also at Penrite. Matt Payne punches out a 9.1 with a hefty margin.
This is a great section of road. Up in the braking area, such a fast entry. Back to 5th gear, 175k mid-corner speed. Accelerate the car down to Dandenong Road and slide the car out. Use that curb again to try to contain the oversteer. And the next sector was actually the fastest so far. So a nice job with the engine change on that car. It's got plenty of mumbo on the back straight.
Second sector here is essentially the back straight. It's a drag race down there, and you can get the ruler out and measure the performance. And he has done an awesome job. As you heard his engineer Phil Keith say in the background, he's done a 1 minute 9.49. The curb cam gives us a great view of how much punishment these cars take over the curbing at turn 1. He's got brand new rear tyres on this car. Been on the podium here and had a couple of second row starts at Sandown over the years.
And that first sector, almost exactly the same as Matt Payne's. So instead of the new tyres on the loaded side that his teammate Dave Reynolds went with, Anton's gone with the rear tyres fresh, the same as Matty Payne. And now, fastest in sector 2. So that number is going to be very close to Matt Payne in terms of the cumulative. This is on, this is going to be very close. Matt Payne at the moment with a 9.1 is the target.
Good speed through that middle sector. Bodes well for the end of this lap. It had a bit of a slide as he initially picked up the throttle coming out of the final corner there on the run down towards the line. They're offset at this racetrack.
Nice job.
And he has gone to the top in a big lap. At the back end of that lap was really impressive. He's dragging it.
He is.
And not giving away a millimetre around this racetrack at the moment. He is well and truly ringing it. So what's he got when he gets it down to the line down here? The splits are pretty handsome, and he brings it up into position 2 on those tyres. That's a very impressive number. So he misses out by 7 10,000ths of a second at the end of it. Sector 2 is a drag race. It's about plucking gears. Here's 6th. building up to 270 kilometres an hour. How brave is he going to be under brakes? He feeds at 5th gear, dances over the top of the curb. It pushes a little bit, but it doesn't run wide enough that he straight lines 7. He's got to then get it stopped at 9, get it back to 2nd gear. A lot happens in a short period of time at Sandown.
Certainly does. He used all of the curb and then the little piece of apron bitumen behind the curb, smashes it over the inside curb at the right-hander. Uses all of the road, a little bit of oversteer, a little bit of wheel spin. We'll give you the number now because the cumulative number was actually the best, and he's slightly off with a 910 P3 for Kai Allen.
Car number 25, and for Mobile 1 and Optus, he makes his run down into turn 1 now. Yesterday in practice 1 and 2, he was quick. Position number 2 on both occasions, and he comes to Sandown with extraordinary momentum after that incredible run on the Goldie. What can he produce here for us today? He loves this style of circuit. There's a flamboyance in his driving style. Can he apply it? We'll see what the first sector looks like, and it's the best that we've seen so far.
Unbelievable. He's been the fastest in the first sector yesterday and today, and not by a little bit. It's a 26.2. It's almost a 1/10 and a half faster than anybody else. He's on 4 roaded tyres.
And in the middle split, he's about 8/100ths away from Anton De Pasquale, so he's well in the game at the moment. It's a beautiful exit with no millimetres to the right of the car coming out at turn 9. How brave can he be under brakes down here? What's the ride control like? He gets it up and over the curb. Full focus in the garages at the moment as Mostert negotiates the final corner. He's got to make perfect gear shifts. They're energised in the garage at WAU, and he's gone to the top and broken at 8. Mostert does a 1 minute 8.9, and that is key. 1/10 of a second is the margin over Anton De Pasquale. This is going to be a big final sector now for Feeney. Can he make it? 16 poles so far this year out of the final corner, ringing this thing for all it's worth. Final gear shift before he greets the checkered flag, and he doesn't get there in that final sector and drops into position number 6.
That didn't look that great. The car was not that nice.
He was in a commanding position at the Repco Bathurst 1000 and had a crank trigger sensor sidelined the car. They got it back out. Then he was in a commanding position on the Gold Coast and had a fuel leak of all things when he was quick. So far this weekend, the car has been speedy. What can he produce now for what should be a pretty big lap? These cars seem well matched to the location, and he is hungry. First sector speed coming up. He's got that throttle in hard. He's done a 26.22. He's just a tiny fraction away from what his teammate has done. So the battle is on.
He's 4/100ths away from Mostert in that first sector. He's the only one in the top 10 shootout that's been able to save 4 green tyres. This last part of the lap may actually help him. Now, at the second segment, he's only a little bit away from Mostert, but his cumulative is actually the best of everybody so far.
Is this going to be another pole position? He did it in Western Australia earlier in the year. He's shown pace at that location, and he is so desperately hungry to achieve again this weekend. They dare not blink at WAU. Is Mostert going to have the pole? Is Wood going to have the pole? He gets to the line, and Ryan Wood takes the pole position with a 1 minute 8.73, and he puts a margin of 0.1 over his teammate for a WAU lockout.
How cool was that lap?
That was a special lap.